going on, everyone? So we got a special stream here today. We're going to be doing our office hours as a metahuman. So we've been developing this VTubing workflow for a little while now, and yeah, this is kind of, we want to put it to the test. So if you've never attended one of these office hours before, essentially what we do is we kind of take some questions, we chat about Rokoko workflow stuff, kind of anything under the sun, and then I'm usually working on kind of a creative project in the background, trying to get my head looking in the right place. And essentially we've been I've been working on a big VTubing workflow series that's going to be coming out relatively soon, and so we're just starting to put it to the test a little bit. Thought we'd do some stress testing, see how many calibrations we might need to do, and how this is kind of looking. So yeah, let me know how the audio is sounding and everything. There's some, you kind of got to be a little bit finicky with because there's a little bit of a delay. And so, this is going to kind of be a journey for all of us here together today. So yeah, hi everyone. Good morning, KRG. What's going on? How are we all doing this morning? Good morning from California. Where in California are you, KRG? Also, everyone, let me know how the audio is sounding. Just want to make sure that everything is working together pretty well. Hey Ryan, Long Fitness. I'm sorry, I might need to go and translate what you're saying, but nice. Hey Eve. Dong, it sounds, I bet, has it. Dong is a long time Rokoko fan. And yeah, look at this. Okay, so we already got a little calibration that we're going to have to do with our arm here, which it hasn't been liking. I don't know why. Okay, yeah, there we go. We'll just sit like that. Yeah. So one thing that I've been doing to start these off is going through some content, people's content. So let's cruise down here a little bit. And I changed my camera angle right before I started, so that's why my fellow here is offset. Okay, but yeah, this is just kind of go through some awesome customer content from the last week. And so this was done as a part of an Unreal jam using Houdini, but then also Rokoko suit for like some of the animations. It looks like this looks super cool. Really fun how they rigged them all up with all these characters. Ooh, oh, that's right, KRG. I remember you were working on that custom head-mounted. What is it? A head-mounted something. I don't know. But yeah, that sounds awesome. You'll have to share the results at some point. Anyway, this was a cool video that came out in the last week. Here was another one we found on Twitter. Ooh, let's mute that guy. So some ballet stuff. I don't know if this is cleaned up data or not, but you can see some leg twitchies, but still getting some good data. Oof, gosh, sorry about that. Here is a breakdown from DJ Forte, who's done some stuff in the past that we've seen, but I've never seen this like breakdown here. So this is kind of a cool thing. This was him doing this. Yeah, I remember this Star Wars animation, which was really cool. And I like how he put on the goggles while he was actually acting it out. So yeah, this was a cool one. Let's keep cruising here. This is just a little metahuman test. I think yeah, inspired by maybe some of our free project files. So you can find some project files we put together that are set up for a bunch of Paragon characters from the Epic Store. So you can download the project files for free, and they have the characters all set up for use with Rokoko mocap. And I think that's what's going on here, but this looks pretty cool. Also looks like some other interesting stuff on this channel. Head-mounted camera, of course. That makes sense. Oh man, this was nuts. This is like a music video that used a bunch of Rokoko assets towards the middle and end. I think this stuff is all Rokoko. Super cool. Bananas, obviously. Super high quality. Super high production value. Yeah, like all that stuff I think is using the facial motion capture. I'm not sure. It'd be cool to see a breakdown at some point of that. And let's keep cruising. Oh, and then this. I ran across this video. This is just an amazing video from the Unreal Reddit. And it was, he did this animation using the Rokoko, but then the rest of the video is just crazy. It's about a video game that he's developing, and it looks bananas. And so yeah, looking pretty cool. Okay, so I did test this all yesterday, and I didn't have calibration issues, but it looks like I might have to do a little calibration right quick. So I'm gonna do that. Boom. Calibration for 3 seconds. You could have something set up in your Twitch. You know, I don't know, maybe like a button, you know, or something. You'd have like a screen that would happen while if you had to do calibrations. I'm a little bummed that I had to do a calibration because yesterday I didn't. Yeah, and so let me turn on my main camera here. You can kind of see what's, ooh, I got froofy hair today. But this is kind of what's going on in the background. So let me turn this guy so you can see what's happening. And I can kind of talk through, I mean, I've talked through this before, but I think it would be valuable to talk through it again, and the way that I've got this all set up. Again, you know, we're working on this masterclass thing, which is going to be great. It's going to run through kind of a lot of stuff about VTubing in general. You know, VTubing is a whole world. So there's, you know, there's lots of different types, and so we're trying to do something that is a little bit more general in terms of placing Rokoko within that world and like where Rokoko is appropriate as a VTuber. Oh man, there's another. I actually do want to Pixel Fire VTuber. This is another. We showed off some Pixel Fire stuff. YouTube last week, but where is it? Come on. Let me just search for Pixel Fire VTuber. I have to pull it up on another. Hold on, let me find him in another screen. So this VTuber just upgraded to using Rokoko, and it looks really sweet, the stuff that he's doing. He just put out this video playing some Jedi Order. And I love the way that he has it set up. This is like a really great example of how you can use Rokoko mocap for VTubing. Like So he's doing the same thing. I think that might be a Metahuman sweatshirt, but I'm not sure about that. But he's just synced up his audio to have that little waveform thing on his mouth, and yeah, it looks like he's kind of got the same setup that I have here, which is essentially a VTuber setup with the legs disabled, so you can just be in a seated position, and so yeah, super cool. So yeah, so let me talk a little bit about. Again, I have a video that's on our channel that runs through this entire VTubing setup already, and it kind of goes through what you need to do to get this all working in the way that I have, which I think is the best way to do it. I'm sorry if my eyes keep drifting over. I've got my OBS open, and I've got so many screens here. Okay, that's where I should be looking. Yeah, right? At my screen. But yeah, what I've essentially got running here is I'm running all of the mocap and my Unreal project all on this laptop. And this is just a powerful laptop. So usually I think the actual workflow would be to use your main desktop computer, which is what I have in front of me. To kind of run your actual system, like your run the Rokoko Studio, run all of the Unreal stuff, and that all has to be run offline. That's what I always recommend, is that because everything's working off of Wi-Fi, I like to have my all my Rokoko, all my motion capture stuff that's running off of Wi-Fi, not also broadcasting to YouTube or Twitch, right? Dong, the laptop is an Asus ROG Strix. They came out with one recently that was, I mean, it was expensive-ish, but also, like, surprisingly inexpensive considering what's in it. It's got a 3070 in it. It's a laptop version, 3070 laptop version. I don't know what that means, but it's a little bit worse than, I guess, a desktop version, 3070. But yeah, it's great. It's amazing. It might be faster than my main setup. But anyway, in this case, this computer is completely offline, and then I'm porting the video, this screen, essentially. I'm porting the main screen here over to my main PC, which is hooked up to YouTube Live and is actually doing the live streaming itself. So that's kind of how you need to set it up, in my opinion and in my experience. That's what I'm going to be recommending to everyone, is that you need to have two computers, but normally one of them just needs to be it can be a clunker, it doesn't need to be super fancy, because that one is just connected to the internet, and it's taking in the video output from the big beefy computer that's doing all of the VTubing, back end. So that's kind of how I have this all working. And as you can see, what that means is that on your computer you're doing the streaming from, that is completely, I don't have Unreal open. I can be looking at YouTube videos. I could have like a game open like Pixelfire does. So it leaves your streaming computer very free to like show content or be running other things. So the facial animation is being done, hi Kennedy, by an iPhone. So you can hook up a iPhone 10 or higher, has the true depth sensors, and that just hooks into Rokoko Studio. And actually, I don't know, yeah, so this is Rokoko Studio. This is my setup in Rokoko Studio that's going over to Unreal. And I don't know if I can show. Yeah, so this is my facial motion capture over here. And yeah, that's how that's all working. But now I can hop back to Unreal. And then in terms of this stream, I just have a chroma key on my Unreal guy, who's just on a green screen background. Kennedy, Rokoko Studio V2. There will be news coming soon. I'm gonna kind of leave it there for now. But very shortly there will be news, and we hope to enter into a beta. And so yeah, it's exciting. Coming along nicely, and really excited to talk more about the features of Studio 2, kind of what we've tried to do with that system, and that will be happening shortly. So stay tuned for that. So I don't know, what do you guys think of the Sweet, Kennedy? Hopefully some of the improvements in Studio 2 will help with that. And again, I don't know if you want to get into it. So you need to clean it manually. Are you using Rokoko Studio filters? I'm sure you are, but I'll ask the questions. Because also this is what I don't really have. This is kind of just I just want to be chatting for this hour or so, just to see how my metahuman character is doing. And you can see already I'm getting a little bit. Might need to do another recal, which I wonder why that is. This is why we're doing this. This is why this is called stress testing. Using Red 9 in Maya. Adam, it can be pretty far away. Right now, it's probably 2 feet away from me, but I can slide back further. And it's still picking me up. Now I'm probably 4 feet away from it. It's like on my desk right there. And yeah, so it looks like my right arm, for whatever reason, is needing a calibration. But I think that's more... I don't know why that is. Do my lean forward. But it can be pretty far away from you. And the thing I like about this workflow is that, it doesn't require you to like be wearing a helmet, right? That would be a bummer if you had to wear a helmet with an iPhone on it for the entire time. So I just have it set up on a Joby. No, yeah, you don't. You could, maybe if you were standing, but I think for VTubing, right, the whole idea is that you're sitting at your desk and you're just like gaming or whatever. And yeah, you shouldn't have to be actually wearing a helmet or a chest mount or whatever. It should just be sitting right on your desk. I love these guys. I think they're so expressive. So Linguini, the way, the Linguini, good to see you again. The way that I have this set up right now, and I could change this, and we can totally get into that. But basically, I've got it set up so that I'm sitting. And let me open up Unreal, actually, because I can do that on this computer. Let me move this stuff off my desktop. But yeah, let's open up the project in Unreal. And I can kind of show you what is happening here. The drifting will happen if you're sitting on your feet, right? It will definitely drift on your feet. And the solution to that is kind of the way that you set up the VTubing project. Oh God, I set it up with another face. We can open up this one. But how you set up the VTubing project in Unreal or in Unity. Unfortunately, I don't think in iClone you can disable the feet in iClone, which is a bit of a bummer, is what I've been hearing. But yeah, Linguini, I just stopped data from the legs, and then I have my character in Rokoko Studio set up in treadmill mode. So it can't move around. It cannot drift away. And then it also in Unreal, I've got it set up so that basically I have a stop translation. See, like these legs don't look right? This will happen when you're sitting for long periods of time, this kind of drifting. But if you go back to Unreal, I've just stopped the feet from being transmitted to this character. And then also, even if I was to translate through space, the way I have the blueprint set up is, there's just what is it? It's a modified bone translation on the hip, and then that stops the character from moving around. Kennedy, I think the expressions look great. The one thing that we do that is part of the oh golly, Kansas, what's going on here? That is part of the workflow that we have now is we make a small adjustment to the lips, and it fixes some open mouth issues that the metahumans had, which was a bummer and made it the metahuman, it didn't sell it very well. And so let's take we can take a look at that first, actually, Kennedy, and then I'll jump in and look at this blueprint. So let's open up this blueprint. And as you can see, in this character, what I've done is I've up my camera speed. I've basically just taken a metahuman head and I've plopped it onto a... That's good. I'm happy to hear that. I think it looks pretty good too. It's kind of hard because there's a bunch of lag on my end, just because... And then I've set my microphone to have a delay of 250 milliseconds to account for that lag. But yeah, I think it's very expressive. I'm always impressed. I'm like trying not to look at the screen over here because it makes my eyes track oddly. But I think it probably looks pretty good. So, okay. So yeah, I've got my, metahuman, and basically on this metahuman, I've just cleared out the meshes from like the body. I'm looking around my Joby tripod. But yeah, you can see here's where the body mesh would be. And if we open up the blueprint and we go to the face, we double click on that face, and we go to the face blueprint. Definitely Linguini, yeah, and I can set that up in a second. And in this free project file, which you can download, it's in. I can go find it and put it in the chat. But this project file is available for free. Yeah, they are so expressive, and you could do a lot more. I need to put in more time and effort in terms of like crafting a lighting setup that would really show off the facial expressions, like more contrast, and like a ring light for the eyes, so you have like a better eye reflection and stuff. Yeah, they look really good, and they pick up your eyes darting around, and it looks very human, I think, when I'm talking. Anyway, so for the head, Kennedy, boop. So we've got this modify curve node that's set up between the live link pose and the ARKit mapping pose. So basically what it's doing is it's just stepping in, and it's making a slight curve to one of the blend shapes on the metahuman. And if we set this to 0 and we compile, you'll see this lip drop down. Boop. So essentially what happens with the ARKit, and this is not just Rokoko, this is anything using the ARKit I've found, is that ARKit blend shapes, they don't close the mouth of the metahuman. So you do this modify curve, you shrug the lips up a little bit, and that's how you deal with it. So this is so frustrating. Okay, so this arm needs a calibration. Again, I don't know why. So I'm going to do a quick calibration, and basically what I'm doing is I'm just on my iPhone hitting calibrate, doing a quick straight pose, ooh, and then sitting back down. Should be fixed, yeah. Don't know. So that's something to keep an eye on. I think maybe if I have my mocap router over on this side, and maybe if it was on this side, it's kind of fighting through my mic setup right now, so I think maybe that's causing a little drift over time. Anyway, so this is how you fix the facial mocap. Kennedy, This is a metahuman thing, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure. It's like how metahumans deal with ARKit is that they leave a little gap in the teeth, in the mouth. So if you go to Maya and you were to do like a Daz character, if you were doing it to a metahuman, then maybe you might have to fix it in Maya too. I'm not sure. I still haven't really done that. It depends if you're talking about metahumans or not. If you're not talking about metahumans, this is not a problem I normally have. The mouth tends to close properly. Yeah. Anyway, so that's how you fix the face. And let's get in and we can do a little standing animation. So let's swap this out. Get piano lessons. Hi, do you need to buy an expensive gaming computer to create animated movies? You should. I mean, I'd love to say that you don't, but you kind of do. I think that it's getting cheaper and cheaper. You want to have a good GPU, and I'm sure someone else in the chat can have an opinion on this. I mean, it's amazing how little Unreal requires to get going, but at the same time, I want to go back to my big screen. At the same time, you know, the more power you have, the better it will work. And yeah, I don't know. It's really you kind of do. You should invest in a gaming computer. It doesn't need to be the most fancy ever, but if you can get your hands on a 2080 or higher NVIDIA GPU, that's what I would say you would kind of want to get started from scratch. Can you do it with less? Yeah, probably. It's going to be frustrating and take more time, and you'll have crashes, and, you know, might be messy. Okay, Linguini. Let's stand up and get this going. So I'm going to... we're going to do a little something on here. So I'm going to show... how should I do this? So I'm just going to mess up my OBS system because I want to show myself. Boop. Put myself down here. And then I'm going to get rid of this screenshot that was my background. And I'm going to take off my filter, my green screen filter on this guy. Chroma key. Turn that down. And here's basically, and then I'm going to uncrop this guy so we can see the whole screen. So this is a little messy looking, but okay, here we go. So this is Unreal, right? I mean, yeah, you can totally be a VTuber. And again, I encourage people to check out Pixelfire because, yeah, with the big setup, it was like a VTuber. Yeah, it was. Okay, but anyway, so here we have the sitting blueprint. Let's not do this anymore. So I'm going to stop this. And I'm going to kind of work on this laptop now. So what do we need to do? We need to go and we need to make a bit of a change. Oh, I made this list view. Don't want that. I like tiles, baby. We need to go, so I'm going to go to the body, basically, because the metahuman head is just paired to this body, right? So we need to make changes to the body blueprint to get it out of this sitting setup that I have. And if we open up the sitting setup, in this project file as well, you can go through and do all this yourself. But this is basically the sitting setup. So this is a pose asset that I have where, you know, I'm just posed in a T pose, but my legs are sitting. and then my head is shrunken down so that I can put the metahuman head on top. And again, we have a tutorial for all this if you want to check it out in more depth. And then this actually is that transform modify bone. So this is taking the pelvis right here, and it is saying for translation, replace the existing translation as 0. So there's no translation. I can still spin, but I cannot move. If I move around in space, it's not going to move my character because that hip bone is not going anywhere. Okay, but if we want to make this standing, what we're going to do is we're going to put this pose in. So let's get this pose in, compile, and now you can see that I'm not in that sitting pose anymore, but I also need to change this bone list, which was set up to not include the legs. But if I hit compile now, look, you can see my legs. So the last bit for this is we need to go into Rokoko Studio, turn off treadmill mode, turn on locomotion mode, and I'm going to scooch my chair back here, up this mic, change my camera a little bit. Hopefully nothing crashes. Excuse me, everyone. Just want to be able to see myself standing. So standing, but I'm still, it won't take effect in terms of the like treadmill being turned off until I do a straight pose. So do a straight pose. Boop. Now I can move around. And now let's go back into Unreal. Turn this guy off. Hit play. And then I'm just going to frame this up. I mean, there's a couple ways you could do this. Oh, I'm moving so slowly. Okay, hold on. We gotta make some changes here. So let's stop this. Let's go to perspective of the mid. Oh my gosh, gotta speed up my camera. I gotta move my guy down again. And like, I don't know how you do this. Maybe you would have multiple setups or something. Now hit play, eject, unclick. There you go. So maybe I gotta kind of tilt up my iPhone. I think I can still leave it there. Yeah. So here we go. This is the metahuman running in standing mode. So let's go back to this deal. And what are we going to do here? Let's turn on our filter again. Chroma key. Key this guy out. Close it. Make me a lot bigger. Ugh. Am I going to go out of focus? Doesn't look like it. Oh, but I'm not tall enough. And then, oh. So I would have like different OBS settings all set up for this, kind of thing. Different OBS scenes. But yeah, here's standing VTubing. Yeah, it looks like the focus is dead on this thing. Oh, right, that's why. Hold on. So we are really playing with this. Make that full. Oh, golly. Stop. Stop this. Well, I think we just leave it like that. But yeah, I would have to set up the camera a little bit more. But yeah, so here's, you know, and like you could be in like a whole environment or something instead of, sorry if my audio just got really loud. I'm right next to the mic. But yeah, you could be in a full VTubing environment or something. You know, I can hold, if I hold this guy, I could like walk around my environment. Hello. Hello. And this is obviously like, it's not focused on the computer. So I would need to set all that up a little bit better. But yeah, so bad here, Balam. Is the captured quality the same as real-time streaming versus saved mocap? Linguini, no, it won't, especially if you're just standing. Like, it shouldn't. You could also turn on treadmill mode, which would prevent you from translating, but you could still be standing. You couldn't move around your room. But as long as you're not, if I like start jumping up and down a ton, and this kind of gets to your question, Bad here, which is a good question. No, the quality is not the same for the streaming versus saved. Anything, you know, our mocap suit is really designed, hold this over here. It's designed to be used in conjunction with the Rokoko Studio software. So we have a bunch of filters that we have in Rokoko Studio that help with like cleaning up drifting and foot capture, especially if you're like running around, you're doing karate kicks and stuff. That typically needs a little cleanup in Rokoko Studio, which we, you know, is really, that's how it's intended to be used. A lot of inertial mocap, like even XNs. The way that XNs works is that, as far as I know, and someone can feel free to correct me, but essentially you do your recordings and then it uses XNs as like cloud neural cleanup. It does a quick cleanup based on what it thinks it should look like, and you get better quality mocap. So if you record your mocap into Rokoko Studio, then you can use the filters and you will get better results. Now that's not always true. Like if I'm not moving around a lot, then it's fine in streaming. You know what I mean? This is like fine. I'm not going to be drifting. I'm not going to be moving. It's just as long as it knows that my feet are on the ground, and I haven't really moved around a lot. If I was like start running in place, eventually the Linguini, it will definitely start drifting. I could fix that if I was recording that take, and I could just go in and make a few cleanups in Rokoko Studio. But for streaming, the raw data requires you, if you don't want to be drifting, either to have treadmill mode on or to just kind of keep your feet on the ground, move minimally, and you might need to like do another recalibration. It really depends. Like you couldn't have a dancer, for example, being a VTuber, like dancing around and doing ballet. That would not, you would start getting really funky results quickly. If I just want to be standing and I'm doing my VTubing thing and I have it set up so that like, a calibration pose will bring you back to zero, the 0 point in Studio. Yeah, and that will fix it. But like it's totally fine for this. Like I actually think standing, it might be better for VTubing, because the suit just does better in general if you're like standing. Sitting is a little bit trickier. But if you were standing and you like had your little, you know, you're on a spaceship and you're like, I want to, I'm turning over here, and now I'm at this console, and now I'm touching this console, and look at, I need to pull out a laser sword and like fight people, like a little bit. It's gonna be fine. But yeah. So that's kind of the answer there. Hope that kind of answers. This looks pretty good, I think. I wonder if I could mount this Joby somewhere so I didn't have to hold it. I mean, this will be... Okay, so I need to... I'm like this close, and if it was higher up, because it's the Joby is way lower than me right now. Bad here, it records at 100 frames a second is what the transfer is back and forth between the suit and Rokoko Studio. If you have a good Wi-Fi connection and everything is like looking good. So you can, do our dancing. I'm happy that that guy is like small, slightly less embarrassing. But yeah, the other thing that I think is really important and that we're going to be covering a lot in the streaming FPS. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that question. It's probably less. It's probably like 80 frames a second or something. It's generally not a problem. The streaming between Rokoko Studio and Unreal, that's never really going to be the problem. The problem's going to be your Wi-Fi connection, magnetic interference, which again is not usually a problem, but can be if you're in a bad zone or something. But yeah, streaming, I don't know what it is between Rokoko Studio and Unreal. Yeah. Can you use two suits at once while streaming? SH, you probably could, but I would not recommend it. Actually, you totally could, but it would not be recommended. What you would want to do if you had two suits, in my opinion, is you'd have two separate offline computers. Like and then you would be streaming output from both of those into a third computer at that point, and that would be and then you'd assemble, you'd like put them close together, and that would be how you use it. The problem with two suits, like you can totally use two suits over an offline. It would definitely have to be an offline router in the room. Offline router again. So the whole thing is based on the whole mocap setup is offline. This is all offline, and then it's being piped into a computer that is online. But everything for the mocap, because it all works off of Wi-Fi, the mocap is not operating on the same Wi-Fi network or whatever as my live stream. That would kill the bandwidth of my mocap, and I would get stuttery mocap, or I would get a stuttery live stream, both of which are bad. So it all has to be offline. And hopefully this isn't too... I know I'm just kind of doing word vomit here, but hopefully it's not too confusing. So what you would want to have two computers... Oh, right. Yeah. Two suits. Yeah. So you can, but I think the propensity for having errors, especially errors that you can't clean up, right? Because you're not recording, you're streaming. You've at that point you've got two suits, 4 gloves, and 2 iPhones, all transmitting data over a Wi-Fi network, all at the same time. Like, it's going to be messy, in my opinion. I've never tried it. It's certainly possible, but I would recommend having 2 suits working together in the same computer for recording data. That way you can go in and you can clean up any issues that you have. You can use filters on them, that sort of thing. Bad here. You are using... Interesting. The stream face cap wasn't good on Unity? Ooh, on Unity? I gotta get closer. My high-pitched on Unity. I've never had that problem. I don't know. Are you using... My go-to is for troubleshooting is always an offline router. And that way you... That way, you know, it's just cleaner. And I don't know, but you know, usually when you have problems with streaming face capture, um, it's like because you don't have an offline router, but maybe it is. Compared to recorded, I mean, maybe. I don't know. It probably is better recorded. Everything is better recorded into Studio. But I have, in the limited experience that I have streaming to Unity, and we have a workflow on the YouTube about it. It was never a problem for me, so I don't know. And if there is a difference, it's the same difference that it would be for Unreal. There shouldn't be any. There really shouldn't be any issues with face capture streaming. So that's interesting. I don't know why. But if you were streaming and you were online on the same system, that wouldn't surprise me. Like if you had your mocap and you were doing a live stream all on the same Wi-Fi network, then I think you're going to get bad results essentially from either the live stream or from the facial mocap or from the body mocap or from the gloves. There's a lot going on that network at that point. Golly, I wish that he was more in focus. So maybe I'll fix that right quick. Because I'm really liking this standing stream, and it allows me to do my kung fu a little bit more. Oh, I keep thinking that OBS is. A little matrix. Yeah, I mean, recorded will always be better than streaming because there's just less variables. You know, and it's you only have fewer things open on your computer. That could be maybe a problem depending on your computer. You know, it's just the suit is really intended to be recorded to get the best results. It's to you know, you always want to record into Rokoko Studio. For like live streaming, I think it totally works, and I think this is incredibly viable. But it's, especially if I start running around, you're going to get worse results. I don't know about the, yeah, I think I would definitely say, bad here, generally recorded is better than streaming. For facial motion capture, I've never had that problem. I think they would actually be about equal. Maybe you're dropping frames or something because your computer is struggling. I don't know. I think it's fair to say generally recorded is better than streaming. I'm using this on kids' cartoon characters. Are you able to change the voice live? I mean, yeah, but that's, I think, more of a... that's an interesting question. I don't know how I would do that. I would have my audio being piped into some sort of filter thing or something. I know. I do need a sword. Should we go get one? We have some time left on this stream. I'm going to do a couple things. Let's I'm going to kneel. Well, no, I'm going to get my chair. I'm getting my chair. Ugh. Okay. I'm going to fix this camera setup so that we actually have a better camera that is actually... I might just set up... Ooh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to kill this aperture on this camera. No more fancy shallow depth of field. So that would be current aperture. Open this guy up. Let's test it again. Eject it. F11 it. Can I go forward? Better qual? Give me some of that better qual. Let's shrink this guy down. Yeah, here we go. Now we're starting to look a little bit better. Okay. Much better. That looks way better. Let's stand up here. I feel like I need like a sweet cyberpunk inspired. Let's find like a cyberpunk background. Cyberpunk background. Boom. Save image as. Get real dirty with this OBS project file. Now I just need my sword. Ooh, lost you guys. That here, you can send it to customer success at rokoko.com, and I'll let them know that it's coming. Sweet. And we love to post stuff. Also, if you're ever posting stuff on Instagram or whatever, always use hashtag made with Rokoko, and that is a really good way to get. You know, we love to publish stuff on our channel. Okay, now I need a sword of some sort. But it's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt to find a sword, I bet. How to do this? Maybe they have swords as a prop. Hold on. I think I've got some starter content in here. Starter content. Props. I'm not going to have a sword, but I am going to have a chair. Take that chair, make it movable. Sorry, this is kind of a mess right here. You guys can see because I didn't take the filter off, but I'm parenting this chair to my right hand. Hand underscore R. This is my chair of power. It's like a sword, but it's even better. So obviously, there would be some sort of gamification way to make this smoother and more intentional, probably. But yeah, you know, this is my chair. There's only one like it. Chair. So hopefully this is a sort of VR, VTuber shenanigans that we want to see people getting up to. Let me step back. Now I got my iPhone. Step over here in my chair. Yes. This is power. The chair. That here, I'm really happy to hear that. Yeah, I think, at this point, it kind of gets to be more about your skill as a Unreal developer. How much can you add? Chair, kung fu. How much can you gamify kind of your live Unreal scene? You can see the preview. Need to build some lighting on this chair. But yeah, obviously I think that there's a lot of potential. I think this looks really good. And especially considering that, these metahumans are free. Paragon characters are free. There's a lot of free stuff you can find. And in the VTubing series, I'm also going to be covering Daz and Character Creator 3 and how to get characters from those. So, super, super cool stuff, I think. The future is bright for Rokoko and VTubing. I think it looks really good. And, imagine this if I need to go and, maybe put some effort into having a good environment and, eventually the idea would be to add collision so you can't put your hand through your legs and stuff and things like that. All doable, but that's more about how good you are as a Blender, as an Unreal developer, and I'm not really an Unreal developer, so we're not going to be covering stuff like that, but Lowney I am, although I am exploring the spout workflow as well, in which you can actually just output a PNG from Unreal. This is, as you can see over here, maybe. Let me move my camera again. Hopefully not shut it off. Yeah, so I just have a green screen, set up. I'm gonna do a straight pose. And yeah, I'm just doing the chroma keying in OBS using the filters. Again, this is the chair of power. It is the one chair. I think I need to open this guy up a little bit. This is the chair. Anyway, I think we're gonna kind of leave it here for this one. Super fun. I think that this went very well and only makes me more convinced that Rokoko is a great option for your VTubing needs. But I do think that with some more planning and stuff might be required to get some better results. But yeah, this is looking super good. And one thing that I was going to say earlier is that so much of this depends on the model and everything. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, you're definitely right, Loney. I think spout is a better option, but yeah, this is just one way to do it that's cheap. I mean, if my character was green, this would be a real problem, right? There's also spill on my character's eyes even. But yeah, I Anyway, unless anyone has any final questions, I think we're going to kind of call it there. This was quite a fun stress test, and yeah, I mean, for my purposes, this was half office hours where we answered a few questions, and then half just putting this workflow to the test, right? How many calibrations did we have to do? We probably had to do a couple while I was sitting down. As soon as I got moving, we haven't had to do one except to move my character back into place. Yeah, I think this is a really, really viable option. And it just looks great and powerful with the chair. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you, Adam, for attending. And, you know, ooh, what was that? So there we go. Now we need a calibration of some sort. Anyway, we'll call it there. Yeah, super fun, everyone. Thanks for attending. We'll see you next week. You know, we do these every Thursday. So we'll be back again next Thursday, coming through questions. And we're going to be, you know, hopefully advertising these a little bit better, too, so that we can get people more prepared. And maybe we can do another submitting your mocap files, and we can clean them up live, and I can give you any advice that I would have. But yeah, it should be fun. Anyway, thank you, Dong. See you guys next week. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And what's a good chair pun? Let's think of a good chair pun before I leave. I didn't get any white chairs from doing this. It wasn't too stressful. Chair hair. Okay, I'll leave it there. Okay. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.